But this is very scary in the moment. And it was very scary. When this was going on, I was still very, very new, but there wasn't a lot of people online. A lot of your accounts right now that have 3 to 700,000 followers probably had like 20,000 followers or even less. And it was a fun, innocent time, actually. But that's all in hindsight. You can play this out a little bit. You would have went down a little bit more, and then bottom is in. So that's kind of, but even then, like, if we just let it continue to run, you can see the pattern kind of building up, but it doesn't really go anywhere just yet. And then you should get a big bump up here pretty soon. So this continues to go down. You know, this is pretty choppy e-liquid price action, and still continues, you know. And let's see, do we finally get a breakup eventually? I know we do eventually, but when does it happen? So there's the build up, right? So had this here, that was a clear-cut structure sign, and then we had, you know, the run up here. So a lot of things that I see, and I'm saying all this for good reason, by the way. Like, I know I'm diverging from the week, but this is a good lesson for the weeks to come. Divergence, retest of this order block here. So divergence was a good sign. This is high time frame. I think it's on the 2-day or the 3-day. I can't remember. So this would have been one sign. The volume that I just showed you would have been the second one. The retest on the pump, not on here, would have been a third. So once this pumped up with the breaker, it would have been good. Which is, and then, you know, probably the build up here would have been 4. So you had 4 good signs and chances to go up. So you didn't have to buy here, right? You could have bought here because you got the consolidation going up. That's bullish. So if you look at it from a time scale, I mean, you had 123 days to buy. So you know, you had plenty of time. You know, you had like, I don't know, like 4 months. So plenty of time to get confirmation, get settled in, get your money back on the exchanges, etc., etc. So if we have something like that now, and assuming it started like 2 weeks ago, you know, we got about 100 more days left. So like March, you know, so that's kind of a frame of reference. And I'm not saying the bear market's going to end, or we're not going to go lower, or the bottom's over, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, this was, you know, everybody was thinking about a pump here. Most people were, you know, few people, and we were probably about split, actually, maybe 60-40, 60% wanted it to go up. And once this went down, it was silence. And funny enough, that was the best time to buy. So anyway, enough of that. But you kind of see that going in now is very reminiscent of, let's go back to KuCoin chart. So if we do something like that, I mean, we could see, where am I even going here? I mean, you could even see something like this happening, you know, and that to me lines up with a lot of stuff that I've seen. I'm not looking forward to 11,000. I mean, I will, because that's more Bitcoin to buy. But, you know, that's like 14,000 is pretty good, is a pretty good area in my opinion. So that's possible, like that big retest. That's a very clear one in my opinion. A lot of people are going to this overthrow right here at 12. But I think 14 is a good, for me alone, is a good time to start getting in. That's roughly 78 to 80%. And if we go by the same marker as the 17 bull run, the 43% is going to be about 11, which is also why people are picking this area too. So, and I think probably because people on the high time frame, this is a wick, so I think 12.5 is probably what people are looking at. So let's just adjust that here. 12.5, 81%. So that's a really, I would be very, very, very shocked if this is not a long-term bargain, because that's 81% below. But if I bought there and go up, all-time high, I just made, 450%. So of course that's not financial advice. I'm only just sharing what I see and what I would probably do, or just talking. So anyway, let's go to Ethereum. And I guess I could go through the 4 hour. Sorry. So you get all this here. One thing I noticed here is we had a solid rejection of the 50. That's why I have it marked out. Rejected there. Getting ready to do a bullish, potentially bullish cross. This is probably based off of my knowledge of Aven. Probably going to turn into another consolidation, which is probably means it's just going to probably just continue to go like this and kind of whipsaw-ish. This is, don't think that the price action is going to be exciting anytime for the rest of the year, and that's just how it is. Now you're going to see some nice bargains probably on on the low time frame, especially if you don't have a lot of capital to work with necessarily. And what I mean by that is like 10 million or more. So that means like any big players, a lot of market makers have checked out. So any kind of big volume plays, you're gonna have a lot of slippage. So if you're, obviously if you're tuning in, you probably don't have $10 million, and it's not a diss on anybody, because if you got 10 million, like, why are you listening to anybody, right? So so the thing is, if you're working, if you're working with 50, 100 grand, even 200 grand, 300 grand, you'll probably be fine. So, and that's the thing. And what I mean by that is like a 15-minute chart. And I'll cover, I'm going to cover CHZ in a moment for some of my Telegram followers. But it's one of those things like if you, this is the Aven band. So this is what I'm going to teach in Apex, by the way. If you would have shorted this here, and this is a 15-minute chart, so this, this didn't happen too long ago. 19 hours ago. If you put a short position on the band, so one of the things I teach is short position at the top of the band. You can set the different stop where you want. In this particular case, I would set it at, since it's a big candle, I'm not expecting this to get faded because this is a breaker. It should get retested and then sent back down, which is what I mentioned earlier in the video. So I'd put my stop at the top of the candle. It did retest as long as it holds this black band. And I mean, that's something I would probably continue to keep going. And so far we're at a 4.2 or 4.4 R. So that's a good play for just a weekend, just whatever, right? So you can also do that in a 5-minute. And these are, this is even better, right? So fade down here. So your entry would have been here. Your stop would have been probably there, but I probably would have, that's a pretty, you probably might get tapped on the high leverage, so I'd probably put it, probably half at a minimum. Let's see. And then this retested, but it stayed below. It stayed mostly below the band, but it definitely stayed. This is called the measured trend. Stay below the measured trend, as long as it stays below. I probably would have made 2 positions here and closed one once it broke above this band, and I'd close it fully when it got above the measured band. So right now I would have closed the one at 3.5, and the current one is 6.9. So we're going at about 10 R already. So that's the thing, like, don't think that this is just an untradeable market, especially if you got a little bit of you like the scalps, kind of thing. So very profitable right now so far. And just play it safe. Don't put use the leverage to your advantage in a risk management application, not to gamble, not do anything stupid. And so leverage is where this is where leverage comes in handy as a good tool, because if you want to use, let's say you have 100 grand, you can put 5 grand on exchange and work with 20x leverage, and you're still working with that same 100 grand, but you're only risking a total of 5. And 5 grand, I mean, I know that sounds kind of small to a lot of players, but 5 grand's still a decent amount to play with when you have 20 leverage. And this particular case, you'd probably have high leverage, which is very risky. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. Please, please, please make sure you have risk management. But that all being said, the market is kind of in a strange mode right now. So you're not getting the volatileness that you would otherwise. So that's just how it is right now. This might break up as well, I think. So, and it's one of these things. You got the divergence here. This is a real-time play, 5-minute chart. You got the lower volume, like I said earlier. So that's a good play. So I could probably see that going up here and retesting this mark here. So if it goes up here, I would have closed the short, but I didn't enter that. I've had a pretty busy week with my son. So let's go to, these videos are always longer than I expect. Let's go to Ethereum. So interesting thing about here is on the weekly, kind of, fallout week obviously had a more bearish week than Bitcoin did, but it's still hanging above this area. It's very interesting. Got the bullish A1 consolidation turned into a wedge. Could see some bearish price action. Don't really know. It's kind of too early. But we also have that same fade situation here. So I'm not, not looking, same application applies to the Bitcoin, right? Wait for a larger confirmation. As you guys may have known from my Telegram, I'd say on the daily, at least wait for this to turn blue. So hasn't turned blue, not concerned. Not concerned about missing out on 5 to 10% and putting myself at risk to lose 5% of my portfolio. Just not happening, right? So that's how that works. Go to the 4-hour. Same thing, weakness, really struggling. I think I had, I don't know what I just did there. I think I had this marked out over the weekend. Had a feeling this would fade. Like that's one of those things though. Like once you've been in the crypto world for so long, you kind of have a feeling. But the basic thing was the momentum wasn't there, right? Down pressure, touch, down pressure, very violent. This was your sign to possibly go short. I'm not really shorting too much right now, unless it's a scalp. And like I said, easy to see in hindsight, but from the A-Rune band, which I'll show in Apex Academy, and you have access to the script as well. Short of the top of that, you would have held this whole way. You'd still be holding right now. And why is this working? 6.7. So between Bitcoin and Ethereum, you could have like 17R in like less than 2 days. So that's significant. And you may have seen my Twitter where I made 78% last week on my scalp portfolio, and there's a reason for that. This is a very easy scalping few weeks actually, so keep that in mind. Keeping all that in mind, let's go back to here to the daily. One thing I'm seeing here, do the fib for the half block. We're still above it. I wouldn't short this right now, not on this time frame. Even if it goes down to here, I might buy a little bit here. As I said, we're just kind of in that weird situation that we just need to wait for higher time frame confirmation. You're not going to miss out long term by probably waiting a couple days, even weeks. And like I said, if that thing from Bitcoin plans out, right, might be 3 months. So, I mean, you're looking at, I mean, roughly here. Well, let's go back here. So, it was 135 days. So you're looking at into March as a possible run. So something to keep in mind. I don't think there's going to be much. I don't think there's going to be any big high time frame fireworks for the rest of the year. And that's not saying much because it's only like 6 weeks away, 5 weeks, whatever. But that's just kind of how it is. I'm gonna go to Sol. So yeah, Solana's probably dead. I don't know. It just depends. It's something that's concerning because it actually is a good chain. It's got NFTs. It's got other potential. But it's getting very, very bearish reactions. The VCs, they bought in at like 5 cents, 10 cents, even $1. So they're still doing okay. They're probably going to sell their bags. The coins are unlocked as well. So there's other considerations for that. You know, I don't think I can even look at the FTX chart because they halted the analytics. So same thing, bullish consolidation, not going well. So this is technically divergent, but like I said, this is a black swan, so that might play into it. And honestly, this is one of these things. Yeah, I do have. I don't know why I have it marked. I guess I got an alert. I don't know why I did that. Maybe that's I think that's a low on a different chart. Let me see actually. What's Binance got? Okay, maybe I did do something here. What we got on the daily? Well, I did do something. Okay. So yeah, we broke through that. So this just isn't looking good. So let's get all that junk. So same thing. We had the same kind of roughly pattern as Bitcoin, but we didn't have the same follow through. Had weakness already, and this is just much more poor, as you can tell. Like this has some strength. This has a little bit more strength. This has no strength. And even BNB is the same way. And I probably won't cover BNB today because it's very roughly the same thing. This is a very terrible pattern. Kind of broke back below the 50, so that's not a good sign. I think it needs to stop at 234, or we're probably going to go down to 50. I mean, that's that bad. There's a huge freaking gap right here. So that's not a good sign. And I don't know if it will or not. You know, Binance is a very wild card. You know, CZ's got a lot of stuff going on. So we'll see. I don't know. But that's a massive, massive gap. What does the long chart say? Let's see. I mean, we would have broke that anyway, so I don't know. That's a little sketch. But we'll see. that doesn't look very good, in my opinion. I didn't even notice that until just now. So got the fade. I don't think I would be buying this for now. Like I said, same application, high time frame analysis. You could probably do the scalp, but like this is a little more. People are already trying to do this, and that's where I'd say like you're going to get more value on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'd probably focus on those. So now I'm actually going to cover CHZ, and I'm going to cover something that I mentioned in my Telegram, and one of the main reasons I got 78% profit return on my scalp portfolio last week. I did get a little bit with Ethereum, but I think I made two very big ones with CHZ or CHZ, as some people say. And so obviously you can see the build up before the World Cup, and then the build down, or the breakdown after the World Cup. This here, and you can see this in my Telegram, this is where I sold. And one of the reasons I did that was I used my Apex strategy, and this is what I'm going to be teaching in Apex Academy. So I did, I bought, when this broke up, or no, maybe it's a 30-minute chart. Yeah, right here. So when I broke this up right here, that was a long position to get in. My stop was roughly right there at the end of the band. So it cleared and stayed. And the reason I held up here is because we started to get like a 3-prong divergence. So here was the beginning of it. There was your second leg, third one. And so if you want to draw a straight line, we even have the deviation to go here. And this is confirming here. So the third one is your sign. I think I sold actually towards the second leg, and I think I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that. Maybe I should have waited for the third one. But it broke down anyway. So I literally, somewhere in here, well, it had to be right here, I guess, because it was the red line. So I got that, and so that's something that I'm going to teach in Apex because of the A-rune band that I'm going to use, and I've been using it. I'm going to have that as a bot, but I'm also going to have that as a script as well. So you'll get access to the script and you'll get access to the bot. And it'll show you both of those, right? So when this turns a different color, you can put your stop loss here, or if it hits the measured band, as I've called it earlier in this video, that's another sign. What I could have did as well, and I didn't even think about it because I was very busy this weekend, is you could have actually did this to confirm the short, and that would have made sense since the World Cup was getting ready to start. You put it at the top of the band, and this would have continued. That was a, see right here, that was a wick, this was a wick, another wick. See what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason I got this band here, is because it protects you. And then these blue marks are for stop losses, in case you go back to there after you break away from it. So you could have stopped there, but let's see. I mean, this would still be going for the 4.8R. So roughly about 10R with that too. So all things considered, like with, and that's easy to say in hindsight, like I said, but with the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the CHZ, you could have got like 30R this weekend, and so that's something to consider. And don't drive yourself crazy with that, and certainly, don't think that you need to play every trade, right? So these are things you got to be here at the charts, or you got to be awake for it, or whatever. So like, don't sell yourself short because you missed something. Because I missed half of those as well. So easy to say in hindsight, but that's the CHZ position that I mentioned. So that being said, that's another installation of Observations with Otsu. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Contact me on Twitter. Please make sure, if you're interested in the Apex Academy, you do it as soon as you hear this message or hear this video, because I'm pretty sure I know I got less than 5 spots open. I might open a few more after Thanksgiving. I'm also going to be doing some giveaways with like ledgers and things like that, so stay tuned on my Twitter for that, and I might mention that in my YouTube as well, but stay tuned. I got another video coming up Wednesday, my long form video with casual crypto and coffee, and yeah, just enjoy a good week, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.